Professor S. M. D. Ghaus worked as Senior Professor and Head of Physics Department at New College, Chennai. Before joining New College, he worked at C. Abdul Hakim College, Melvisharam in Vellore district as Physics teaching faculty. He served 36 years as Physics faculty for UG and PG. After retirement, he worked for 4 years as Head of Physics Department in SRM institutions. He also served as teaching faculty of Physics for 1 year at Saudi Arabia. His areas of interest are thermal physics and electricity. He studied BSc Physics from New College, post-graduation in Annamalai University and completed his MPhil at Presidency College, Chennai. He has presented and published 4 papers in crystal growth in national journals.
Welcome to UGC Lectures of Physics in Dynamics Part 9. In this lecture, the contents are rotational motion of rigid bodies, equations of rotational motions, moment of inertia and its relationship with kinetic energy, rigid body. A rigid body is defined as that body which does not undergo any change in the shape or volume when external forces are applied on it. When forces are applied on a rigid body, the distance between any two particles of the body will remain unchanged however larger the forces may be. Now, normally it is very difficult to find a rigid body, because the rigid body, when you apply a force, there may be a slight change. Only in the case of solids, there will be negligible displacement. So, that can be taken as a rigid body. Rotational motion. When a body rotates about a fixed axis, its motion is known as rotatory motion. A rigid body is said to have pure rotational motion if every particle of the body moves in a circle, the center of which lies on a straight line called the axis of rotation. The axis of rotation may lie inside the body or even outside the body. The particles lying on the axis of the rotation remains stationary. Now, I can show you the rotation of a rigid body like this. This is a rigid body and it rotates through the axis x, o, x dash. Now, when it originally it is at the position A, when it rotates, then it comes to the position B. Here the particles, what happens, the particles here moves, the angle of rotation is theta, then particle P1 will come from P1 dash. Similarly, particle P2 will come to P2 dash. Like that, when a rigid body rotates from the position A to B, it covers unequal distance from P1 to P1 dash, P2 to P2 dash. Here, a rigid body rotates from the axis O, that is xo, x dash is the axis through which the rigid body rotates. So, here the angle of rotation is theta. The particles are moving in a circular motion, it covers unequal distance, it moves from P1 to P1 dash, P2 to P2 dash, P3 to P3 dash. So, there is change in the constituent particles of the linear velocities as V1, V2, V3, but the angular displacement theta, that is angular velocity, remains constant. So, in the case of rotational motion, the linear velocities are changing, they are having different linear velocity, but angular displacement only is theta. So, the angular velocity w is a constant. Now, equation of rotational motion. As in linear motion, for a body having uniform angular acceleration, we shall derive the equations of motion. Omega is equal to omega 0 plus alpha t, theta is equal to omega 0 t plus half alpha t squared, omega squared is equal to omega 0 squared plus 2 alpha t. In this equation, omega 0 is the initial angular velocity, omega is the angular velocity at a time t, alpha is the angular acceleration, theta is the angular displacement. Now, suppose the body, just like in the linear acceleration, there is angular acceleration, a body moves with a angular velocity, initial angular velocity w 0. After a time, it goes, after time t, the angular velocity will become omega. The angular acceleration is angular acceleration is equal to alpha. Angular velocity, that is angular velocity, this is omega, this is after time t. Omega 0 is the initial angular velocity, that is initial angular velocity. Theta is equal to angular displacement, theta is equal to angular displacement. Then first equation of, these are all called equation of rotation motion. The first equation, now you know the change of velocity is equal to omega minus omega 0. So, change of velocity is omega by omega 0, that is acceleration is equal to alpha, that is change of velocity into time. Change of velocity is equal to omega minus omega 0 by time t. This is equal to angular acceleration alpha. So, according to this, w minus w 0 is equal to alpha t. That means, omega is equal to omega 0 plus alpha t. This is equation 1. This is first equation of rotation. The average velocity is equal to omega plus omega 0 by 2. This is called average velocity. Then displacement theta is equal to average velocity into time. Average velocity is equal to omega plus omega 0 by 2 into time t. We know already omega is equal to omega 0 plus alpha t. So, substituting this in the equation, this is equation 2. Substituting the value of omega is equal to omega 0 plus alpha t in the equation 2, we are getting omega 0 plus alpha t plus omega 0 by 2 into t. That means, omega 0 plus omega 0 is equal to 2 omega 0 divided by 2 will give you omega 0. Then alpha t into t is equal to alpha t squared by 2. So, when you multiply this alpha t squared omega 0 t omega 0 into t is equal to omega 0 t. So, finally, we are getting the angular displacement theta is equal to omega 0, that is omega 0 t plus alpha of alpha t square. Theta is equal to omega 0 t into alpha t square. S is equal to ut plus of a t square. This is similar to linear motion. Now, I am discussing only the angular rotational motion. Then this is the second equation. Then now the third equation. Now you know very well, here you know the average velocity, that is angular displacement theta is equal to W, that is omega plus omega 0 by 2, angular displacement theta is equal to this average velocity into time. But we know very well the time is equal to, according to this equation, time is equal to omega plus omega 0 by 2 omega minus omega 0 by alpha. Because how I got this from the equation, first equation says omega is equal to omega 0 plus alpha t. That means alpha t is equal to omega minus omega 0. So, t is equal to omega minus omega 0 by alpha. So, this is time. Now, you substitute here theta is equal to, now theta is equal to omega plus omega 0 by 2 into omega minus omega 0 by alpha. So, now you multiply these two things. When you multiply these two things, omega square minus omega square by, you are getting 2 alpha. That is omega minus omega square is equal to 2 alpha theta. That is omega is equal to omega 0 plus 2 alpha theta. This is the third equation. So, I have explained you the three equations of motion in the case of rotational motions. These are all called equations of rotational motion. Now, let us pass on to the next topic, that is moment of inertia. A body which is free to rotate about a given axis opposes any change desired to be produced in this state. The measure of opposition will depend upon the mass of the body and the distribution of mass about the axis of rotation. The coefficient on inertia in rotational motion is called the moment of inertia of the body about the given axis. Suppose in the case of ordinary inertia, what do you mean by ordinary inertia? Now, Newton's first law of motion says every body continues state of rest or of uniform motion unless it is compelled by an external force. So, every body is represented by its inertial property. It possesses some inherent property that is called inertia. Inertia is the opposition for the motion of the body in the case of linear or translatory motion. In the case of rotational motion also, when a body rotates, there is opposition for the rotation of the body, that is called moment of inertia. Now, linear motion, mass is the opposition. In the rotational motion, the moment of inertia is the opposition. That is, moment of inertia depends upon, as I have already told you, it depends upon mass of the body and also distribution of the mass about the axis of rotation. This coefficient of inertia in the rotational motion is called the moment of inertia of the body about the given axis. Now, here in ordinary linear motion or translatory motion, mass or a force is necessary. Now, in the rotational motion, torque acts on the body for the opposition. This is called moment of inertia. Now, relation between moment of inertia and kinetic energy. Now, kinetic energy of rotation is equal to half I omega square. Now, I am going to explain the kinetic energy by means of some explanation. Now, here you see this rigid body is rotating. It rotates through an axis x, o, O dash. Now, let me take a particle m1 which is at a distance r1 from O, this is point of rotation. Then another particle which is at a distance r2 from m2. Then third one r3 at a distance r3 from the mass m3, like that. Now, what is the kinetic energy? Now, I am going to talk about rotational kinetic energy. What is the kinetic energy of a particle m1 which is at a distance r1 and it is having a linear velocity v1. So, kinetic energy of the particle m1 having a distance r1 having linear velocity v1. That means, kinetic energy is equal to half m1 v1 squared. We know very well it is also rotating with a angular velocity omega. So, the body is rotating with the angular velocity omega means we know very well v1 is equal to r1 omega. Similarly, v2 is equal to r2 omega. So, the kinetic energy of the particle will be, first particle is equal to half m1 r1 omega. Second particle half m2 r2 omega. Similarly, we can say the number, it has got number of particles. So, the total kinetic energy is equal to half m1 r1. So, half m1 r1, I am so sorry, this is a r2 square m v1 squared r1 squared. So, that is squared. So, squared half r1 omega squared. Similarly, plus half m2 r2. So, r2 squared omega squared. Here also r1 squared omega squared. Like that I can go half mn rn squared omega squared. Now, we can, what is the total kinetic energy? The sum of the individual particles of the rigid body, that is total energy will be equal to omega square of m1 r1 squared plus of m2 r2 squared, like that we can go on of mn rn squared. Now, total kinetic energy is equal to omega squared into half m1 r1 squared plus half m2 r2 squared, etc. So, here we know that is omega squared is equal to sigma of m1 r1 sigma I is equal to 1 up to n. So, this is we are getting of this is I omega squared. So, this is equivalent to the linear velocity, linear kinetic energy, that is of mv squared. Here of mv squared is equal to kinetic energy when a body is moving in a translatory motion. Here of I omega squared is a body is rotating in a rotatory motion. So, in this we can find out the, so ER is equal to of I omega squared. That is, suppose omega is equal to angular velocity is equal to 1 radian per second, 1 radian per second. This will become omega square, that is half into I into 1 squared. That means I is equal to 2 ER. That means the moment of inertia of a rotating body is equal to twice kinetic energy of the body. So, relation between moment of inertia and kinetic energy of rotation is equal to half omega squared I. When omega is equal to 1 radian per second, rotational kinetic energy is equal to ER, that is half into 1 squared I, or I is equal to 2 ER. It shows that moment of inertia of a body is equal to twice the kinetic rotating body whose angular velocity is 1 radian per second. Now, I am going to discuss radius of gyration. Now, in this moment of inertia, what is moment of inertia? Here I moment of inertia is equal to half m1 velocity squared, that is distance, mass into distance squared. Here m1 r1 squared plus half m2 r2 squared, like that I can say half mn rn square. Now, I can show I is equal to moment of inertia. Now, the particles m1 is equal to m2 is equal to m. Now, in this case half into m r1 squared plus m r2 squared up to half mn rn squared. Here mass is equal. Now, this can be written as moment of inertia is like this. Now, I can write this. Now, this can be written like this, half m, that is m nm, that is r1 squared plus r2 squared up to rn squared. Now, since I have put n here, it can be divided by n. Now, you know nm is equal to total mass m, that means half m. This r1 plus r2 squared up to rn squared by n, this can be written as a simple thing k square. So, this is can be k square, where k squared is equal to r1 squared plus r2 squared up to rn squared divided by n, or k is equal to root of r1 squared plus r2 squared up to rn squared divided by n. So, k is called radius of gyration. Now, I can explain you what is radius of gyration. The radius of gyration is equal to square distance of the particles from the axis of rotation of the body. The radius of gyration can also be defined as the perpendicular distance between the axis of rotation and the point where the whole weight of the body is to be concentrated. Let us look at the summary. In this lecture, we have learnt rotational motion of rigid bodies, equations of rotational motions, moment of inertia and its relationship with kinetic energy, radius of gyration. Questions: derive the equations of rotational motion. 2. What do you mean by moment of inertia, and explain the relationship between moment of inertia and the kinetic energy of rotation. We have come to the end of the session. Thank you.